The next thing I want to tell you about is a thing called the prospectus. Now, that's another one of these financial words that don't be afraid of it. Prospectus, it just means the prospect. It tells you what the company's all about and what they own, what subsidiaries they have, what investments they're selling to you, the number of directorships, and what it's going to require to have a majority. A majority is what it takes to win. You want to, first guy with the majority wins. So, what it tells you is that Yellow and Blue Company are identical in structure. They have the same investments, the same number of shares, the same, not the same subsidiaries, but the same number of subsidiaries. Okay, for instance, Yellow Company, these are parent companies, okay? And they have subsidiaries. This is the value of the parent company shares. But these are the companies that parent company owns. These are the subsidiaries or the children, you know. This is a one-to-many or a parent-to-child relationship. And so in order to get that, this here is the escrow directorship of that company. They each have one escrow directorship. You need that to win. You can't win without it. So there's two objectives in this game. One is to get an escrow directorship. That's this thing. How do you get it? Well, remember I told you about the proxy sheets. You record, whenever you land on a space, you record that you landed on that space. And these are companies that this parent company owns. So they're going to give you a proxy or a vote so that you can, when you get all 6 of these votes, you can claim this because you've been elected as the escrow director. Then, once you get the escrow director, you're going to win the game by getting controlling interest, 50% of the shares tied up in directorships of that company. And somebody else is going to get red, and somebody else is going to do blue, and somebody else is going to get green. And then once you get your escrow directorship, you can't lose this. You can go broke, but you'll never lose it. So, Yellow and Blue Company have common shares and they have preferred shares. There are 240,000 shares total in this company, these companies. There are 320,000 shares total in these companies. So, when you hold 40,000 shares, you can claim a common directorship. And a common directorship is when you put one of these rings on your man. So if you had 40,000 shares of green, you could put that on your man. And you don't have to have, you can just be yourself, see? So let's put the players on, okay? Somewhere. So, when you hold 40,000 shares of any company, say blue, you can put a blue ring on your man. You don't have to have an escrow, okay? And that's called a common directorship. Now, you will get a salary for that directorship at the end of the year. And what you want to do is you want to collect as many directorships as you can, common directorships. You can only have one of these, but you don't have to have one of these to have a common. So you can claim as many common directorships as you want, as long as you have the shares. And that way, that builds up your salary, because you get $10,000 a year for each of these directorships and $7,500 a year for these directorships. So I told you there's 320,000 shares in this company. 40,000 shares is a common directorship. That means there's 8 common directorships in these companies. These companies have 240,000 divided by 40. There's 6 common directorships in these companies. Now, these companies have 80,000 preferred shares and 160,000 common shares, which is 240. And common and preferred count equally towards common directorships. These companies have 320,000, which means they have 8 common directorships. So as soon as you hold the shares, you want to get that ring on there, because if you're holding it at the end of the year, you get a salary. And the whole trick of the thing is you want to build up your salary. with directorships. But there's other ways to earn as well. There's bonds, okay? So going back to the prospectus. So the prospectus tells you how many shares there are, what kind of investments they have, common, preferred, what subsidiaries they own. It tells you that you're going to need the say in yellow company, you're going to need the escrow directorship and 3 common directorships, because there's half of them is 6. So this is 1 directorship and 3 commons makes a majority, because there's a total of 7. This one and 3 commons. In red, there's this one and 8 commons. So you need this plus 4 common directorships. Same with green. Blue is same, is the escrow and 3 commons. That's basically what the prospectus tells you. Tells you what you need to win, what's for sale, what the directorships are made of. So that's in a nutshell the prospectus. And you don't have to memorize it. It's there for reference. You just have to just have a look at it. But, you know, just go back to it if you're unsure. And it's probably the very first thing in the instructions.